Hi, and welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Focal Point AFR Talk. We'll take calls in this hour. I'm going to open up the phone lines here in about 5 minutes. We'll take calls this hour on the Bo Bergdahl situation, and we'll take calls on the Senate primary in Mississippi. We'll talk more about that. We'll focus more attention in terms of delivery of content on that issue in the second hour. The bottom line here is that in Mississippi, you're required to win a primary outright. You must get 50% of the vote. Now, there was an X factor in the Senate primary. There was a third candidate. He was a Republican, running as a Republican, and he siphoned off a little less than 5,000 votes. The gap between Chris McDaniel and Thad Cochran was about 3,000 votes. So he siphoned up enough votes to keep either one of them, either McDaniel or Cochran, from breaking 50%. Now, McDaniel won the plurality. A lot of states he would be the winner. Like Joni Ernst in Iowa, for instance, all you got to do there, I think, is clear 35% or maybe 40%. And if you do that, even though you don't have a majority, you win the primary. In Mississippi, the rules are somebody's got to get 50% of the vote. And I actually think that's a pretty good rule. So that means that everybody that's in office was elected by a majority of the people. I actually think that's a good rule. At any rate, Chris McDaniel got 49.6% of the vote, 49.7%. And Thad Cochran got 48.9%. So because neither of them got to 50%, and the guy that finished third, he's gone now. He's out of there. So it's going to be a two-horse race on June 24 between Chris McDaniel and Senator Thad Cochran. Everything I have read indicates that this is a huge advantage to the challenger, in this case, Chris McDaniel. Ted Cruz, for instance, down in Texas, he got fewer votes in the primary than David Dewhurst, his opponent for the Senate. Dewhurst got 35%, Cruz got 23%, something like that. I got the story here in the stack. But when it came, and that was a primary, so it became a two-man race. Everybody else was eliminated. Top two vote getters run against each other. And Ted Cruz just walloped Dewhurst. So he lost by 12 points in the primary, in the plurality vote, but he won by a huge majority, 15 points or something like that, in the runoff. So there's apparently a huge, now, if history is any indication, and things like momentum and energy, all of those things factor into it. One of the major political groups, American Crossroads, that's Karl Rove's group, they're pulling out altogether. So Karl Rove has given up on Thad Cochran. He says he doesn't have a chance. This game is over. We're not going to spend any more money in Mississippi because we think this is over. Cochran is going to lose. He's going to go down. We're not going to put money into this race. Meanwhile, the conservative groups, the Freedom Works and the Club for Growth and the other Tea Party groups that have been backing Chris McDaniel, they're doubling down. They are going to put energy. They are going to put effort. They are going to put boots on the ground in Mississippi for this runoff. And that's why there was a lot of jubilation last night in conservative groups, Tea Party groups, even though it was not an outright win for Senator McDaniel. And you must never, ever, in any situation, count your chickens before they hatch. And I guarantee you Chris McDaniel is not going to do that. The point is simply to say, from an objective standpoint, things look very, very good now for the Tea Party challenger, which would be a huge win for grassroots Americans. Now, let me give you a little bit more on the Bo Bergdahl situation. Now, I got a couple of sound bites, but let me save those just for a second. And I want to go back to this business of the shape that Bo Bergdahl is in. Now, I suggested to you yesterday that the Obama administration will keep a bag over Bo Bergdahl's head as long as they possibly can. They said, look, he's in a reintegration program. He's been through a brutal 5 years. We're deeply concerned about his health. There are some real nutritional issues indicating that he was in failing physical health. Then obviously there are going to be emotional, mental issues. Nobody questions that. But what the administration stressed is the physical condition he was in. We're concerned about his physical health. He's weak. He's falling apart. He's collapsing. That's the impression that they created. Now, they did not release video of Bo Bergdahl being released by the Taliban into American hands, but the Taliban did. I talked about this at the top of the hour. And I've watched that video, watched it this morning. It's easy to find on the web. and he's in perfectly fine health. He's strong. He appears robust. He appears well fed. He doesn't have to be helped. He's not walking with a cane. He's not in a wheelchair. He doesn't have to be carried. Doesn't even have to be assisted. Perfectly capable of walking on his own power. And NBC even said this. Jim Mikolashevsky said this. So this is NBC now. So this is not from a conservative website, because my theory is that Bergdahl is in much better shape than President Obama wants us to believe. They want to find some excuse to keep this guy in a hidey hole somewhere, hopefully out of sight, out of mind. They want people to start gradually forgetting about Bo Bergdahl before they release him into the American public, where he's going to have to face questions. And all of these things are going to have to be revisited. So I predict that Bo Bergdahl is going to be in this reintegration process for a long time. And we're going to be told it's all for his health. We're concerned about his health. We just want to see him get well. In reality, they're trying to keep him under wraps because this thing has turned into an absolute nightmare for President Obama. But here's Jim Mikolashevsky, NBC. He's the chief Pentagon correspondent. Says Bergdahl appeared on film to be, quote, in remarkably good shape, thus contradicting the Obama administration's argument that he was, quote, in dire health. Here's what Mikolashevsky said this morning on Morning Joe. What struck me first about this video is he appears to be in remarkably good shape, at least physically. I don't know how he is psychologically. He's clean-shaven. He appears to be somewhat robust, had no trouble walking to the helicopter. He did appear subdued, which naturally anybody could understand that. So every part of the Obama narrative now is beginning to collapse. It's beginning to unravel. It is beginning to fall apart. I mean, this clearly now, this is a scandal of immense proportions. I'm looking at Drudge for the last 3 days now. I mean, the headlines above the fold, there's been a dozen of them, all of them making President Obama look very, very bad. The President Obama overruled his intelligence community. His intelligence community said, look, don't release these guys. Don't release these Talibanis. The intelligence community was working on a ransom arrangement for Bergdahl. They were ready to pay some money to the Taliban to see him set free, to get him back by paying some money. And President Obama said, no, I reject that. I don't want the ransom for the prisoner. I want to release these Talibani bad guys. That was President Obama. The intelligence community said, look, don't release these guys. They're bad actors. They're going to go back to the battlefield. They're going to endanger American lives. President Obama says, I don't care. I'm going to release them anyway. And they had set up a ransom swap for Bergdahl, and President Obama overruled him. I don't want a ransom. I don't want to redeem him with money. I want to redeem him with Talibani bad guys who he knew. He admitted yesterday, absolutely, the chances are that they'll go back to the field and start killing Americans. And President Obama said that is the solution that I am going to insist on. So the media, Chuck Todd saying, look, the White House was caught flat-footed. They didn't expect this backlash. They didn't understand it. They didn't predict it. They didn't see it coming. Again, just an absolutely spectacular error in judgment on the part of President Obama. Judge Napolitano not understanding why he did this. Well, I understand it perfectly. He wanted to get the kind of accolades Reagan got after the release of the Iranian hostages. Number is 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840 if you would like to call the program. We'll talk either about the Bo Bergdahl situation or the Senate primary race in Mississippi. But here is the story from FoxNews.com. The Obama administration largely bypassed the intelligence community to greenlight the risky swap of 5 Taliban leaders for American Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, officials tell Fox News. A military intelligence source confirmed to Fox News that a second option involving the payment of a cash ransom for Bergdahl's freedom was pursued as late as December 2013. That's 6 months ago. That option, though, was put on hold in December when it was made clear the administration intended to pursue a prisoner swap. Now, here's the point, ladies and gentlemen. We did not need to release these Taliban chieftains, the dream team, the Fab Five, the starting team of the Taliban. We did not need to release them to get Bo Bergdahl back. The Taliban was prepared. They were ready to take money to release him. So don't let President Obama, don't let the administration lie to you by trying to convince you this is the only way we could get him back. Our priority was to leave no man left behind. We were going to do whatever it took. This is the only option that we had. This is the only way we could set him free. Do not let them lie to you. They had the opportunity to buy his freedom. They turned it down because President Obama was insistent. He was insistent on releasing Islamic radicals back to the battlefield. Well, let's grab a call before the end of the segment. Let's go to Tom in Dallas, Texas. Number to call is 888-589-8840. Tom, Dallas, Texas. Welcome. What's on your mind?
Thanks for the call. On the prisoner here that was released, a couple questions. Number one, he's supposed to be brought up on charges for desertion or whatever. Do you think he'll get a presidential pardon if they do bring charges against him?
Well, go ahead.
And the second question is, from all I can tell of President Obama, he's basically a Muslim. And why wouldn't he want to swap prisoners for one of our soldiers?
Well, and I'll tell you, and I appreciate the call, Tom. Thank you for that. That's one of the reasons why people think that President Obama is secretly a Muslim. And when the father of Bo Bergdahl started praising Allah in the Rose Garden, speaking in Arabic, giving thanks to Allah, President Obama's face lit up like a Christmas tree. And everywhere that President Obama has gone, every action he's taken on the international stage has been to further the interest of radical Islam, every single one, and specifically the Muslim Brotherhood. He helped the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. He helped the Muslim Brotherhood in Syria. He helped the Muslim Brotherhood in Libya. So the very least, and I've told you before, I've had Washington insiders that tell me everybody in D.C. believes that secretly he is a Muslim. And when President Obama does stuff like this, it starts making that explanation easier and easier to believe. By the way, I don't think he'll be brought up on charges. He's the pet of the White House.
At my family's favorite